All right, let's get started tonight on the Wayne Coito Show. Welcome to the Wayne Coito Show. It is Wednesday night, and tonight I am remembering my dear friend Mauricio. Also went by Mo, simply by Mo, and he was not a simple guy at all. He was magical. He was complex, but also beautifully relatable to anybody. And Mo lost his life to COVID, and it makes you, of course, any kind of death close to you will make you sit back and think, but knowing that it was to COVID, knowing that it was to something that some of us are so privileged to be able to avoid catching or avoid being in a position where we are susceptible to catching the virus. We're lucky, we're very fortunate. And I just want to remember my friend because I never thought that he would die, not at all. And he fought a battle. He was in the ICU, but even then he was reaching out and telling everybody how hard he's fighting. And, he was just more than life. He was just, sorry, people are going to start commenting. He was just, he was a leader and somebody whose place cannot be taken, because, or filled, because he was just so, he had the ability to relate, like I said, to anybody, and to affect change. And as a leader of our group, the 3252, so Los Angeles Football Club, LAFC, I talk about them a lot. My favorite team, probably one of my most favorite teams, probably could be my most favoriteest team of all my teams I love because of this family that we've created off the pitch, as they like to say in the sport, but also it's increased my fandom 1,000 times. Think of all the places that I've been, and I talk about going to Super Bowls and going to, tennis majors and everything. Nothing has come to what the sport of football or soccer has given me in terms of a fan experience. And it starts with the North End at the LA Football Club's Bank of California Stadium. And that's where the crazy fans are. That's us. That's the 3252, 3,252 seats. And Mauricio was the vice president of all of us, and even more. The ones that weren't there at the games, he was there checking in on. He was an ally to everybody, to other supporter groups. Him and I were in the same supporter group, District 9 Ultras. And yeah, so I brought my uke, my ukulele, to we had a wake, or a little bit of a not really a wake, but felt like one, a memorial to Mo on Saturday morning, this past Saturday after he passed. And I brought my ukulele, but I was gonna sing Aloha, but I can't because that would be way too much of a tearjerker. But I will share a little bit of my amateur ukulele skills and singing. As I show you a video, I wanted to show something. The team, because Mo is such an amazing figure and so major within our program or within our club, and will be a legend forever, a legend. He'll never be forgotten. That's what it means. That's what it means to be a legend. But there's a cool video that the team put out. So maybe I'll start playing the uke after you listen to what the team had to say about this video that they shared from the official team website it was pretty cool. Take a look.
This is what it's about. But what you can't see is what's in here. This is just ink. but this is who we are. This only expresses on the outside what we feel, who we are in this club, but inside there's so much more. And this is why we're here, because we respect this sport, we respect this culture. And this is what we're trying to build in Los Angeles. Una cultura de fútbol. Eso es lo que somos. Porque todos de aquí somos del barrio angelino.
About 10 minutes away from the game, LAFC, Seattle Sounders. Everybody getting ready. So hard to imagine, watching that video over and over again, watching, videos from where I was able to, be with him for the very first game. Very first game in the history of LAFC was in Seattle. It was March of 2018, just about 3 years ago, and we scored our very first goal. And I'll never forget that moment, obviously, because it was our very first game. And so you see that photo if you're watching the live stream with Mauricio next to me. Sorry, I tried to sing, but I can't right now. I'm too sad. Can't even. I was gonna record it, but even though I was recording it, I was sad, and I was like, you know what? Let's just play music. So, I think Mauricio would appreciate any kind because he was such a fun guy to be around. So, of course, any kind, what we say in Hawaii. But that's for you, Mauricio. I'll always remember you, never forget you. I have thought about you since Saturday, and so maybe by the end of the show I can sing.
to you, Mauricio. Mo. Yeah, you're the only person that would put these amazing ukulele skills to use with. But yeah, somewhere over the rainbow, our friends are playing and dancing, and yeah. All right, so that's the beginning of the show, but I'm gonna talk about something else now because well, I'm gonna keep talking about Mo because Mo was a great. He loved the Dodgers. He loved all the LA stuff. I'm from Hawaii, obviously. This is the Hawaii sports fans, but that's how much of an effect being a part of this group has had on me. But sometimes things can unexpectedly happen. So yeah. Robert said buck up. Yeah, I do. I do. I just think about all of the plans that I had and memories that I had more to make, and that's what being a fan is all about, right? And we talk about it on the show all this time. A lot of my travels, a lot of being in the stands has to do with the memories in the stands just as much as the memories on the field. The memories on the field are important, right? We want to win games and we want to be a part of a winning tradition and hoist trophies. And you saw Mo in that video, the LAFC video, hoisting that Supporters Cup, Supporters Shield trophy. And that was cool as a club to win that. That was for, I believe, having the highest regular season record, the best regular season record in 2019. And Mo was there. So, a lot of what he's done, a lot of what he already did in the time that he served us, it'll already, fill a lot of memories for a long time. So I'm glad that he had that position, took that role, was a leader, and we needed him. And I don't know who can fill that role from him. I'll try my best for myself, and I know a lot of us have to step up. But Mauricio, he went to USC. He played baseball at USC, and he was an example of what it means to be from a family, a Mexican-American family that, or any immigrant family, and the hard work that his family, did for him. He repaid to the rest of society and to this community, so much, 1,000-fold. So ultimately, he didn't have to pass. Nobody had to. It's very unfortunate because I mean, it's a lot of it. This virus it's just affected us. It's just about a year since I've started this show, and I did this on the basis of being in a lockdown in my house and thinking, okay, I need to be able to connect with my fans and connect with my Hawaii sports fans. Maybe not my fans, my Wayne Coito fans. I don't know if I have any fans, but connect with the people that I travel to games with and that are at home too and in lockdown. But through this process of being on the show and having this show, I've been able to do so much more. I even did a LAFC show from outside the stadium when we were cheering for our team inside during the pandemic. I actually did a show from Utah when LAFC played Real Salt Lake at halftime. I was there for that game, in a socially distanced game, and I think how privileged I was to be able to go to all these games and go to all the football games, obviously, be able to go to the Super Bowl this year again, and 2 playoff games, and do so, without getting the virus, or that I know of. I didn't experience any symptoms of any kind in the last year that would be consistent with a virus, so I'm fortunate. I'm privileged. And I'm privileged that my grandfather has the vaccine and both of my parents have the vaccine. And, live in a place that is relatively mellow in Hawaii, a suburb that is pretty insulated from a lot of the where the virus is being transmitted. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm so lucky, right? I had all this whole year, and of course I had a lot of hardship this past year, personal hardship and growth that came out of that. But I thought to myself, man, I'm so lucky. I don't know and really anybody personally close to me. There were several, my sisters, I had some people that did catch the virus and have had a pretty hard time, but and having friends from District 9 Ultras who had also suffered for the virus, but I would never imagine somebody would pass away, and definitely not Mo. I mean, somebody that he just loved everyone, just like shouldn't have been him, it's the whole time. I was thinking like, no way, like cannot be him, because he's just, everything good. And I've been thinking about him a lot since even Saturday. It's hard to not think about him because it's when something is unexpected, it is, even more devastating. And when it's more surprising, it's even more hard to take sometimes and hard to process. And that's what this has been for me a lot, has been hard to process. And I'm hoping that as we as a group are able to get back in the stands. And speaking of LAFC, they're the MLS announced the rest of the schedule. Whatever your team you're a fan of in the MLS, there is a schedule right now that's been released, and MLS is back for many reasons, but actually having a full season is a good thing to have. And it'll be hard not having Mo there as a capo, or we call him. He's the guy on the stands, one of the guys that would be on the stands and leading our cheers. And unlike what a lot of you have, or what we do in other sports, basketball or any American sports, you rarely have coordinated cheers in the stands. But LAFC, that's something that we do, and all of it's a football, soccer thing. And LAFC, I think we do it the best, and Mo is one of the reasons for that. But he was one of those guys, and I'll never forget walking on the concourse in the North End before a game, and we were doing a song, Que Bonito, and Que Bonito Es, and he was, and it talks about Que Bonito Es, like how beautiful the game is, and like he said, the culture that we respect. And I imagined Mo leading us in that song, after we win the MLS Cup, which is going to happen soon. But, thinking about the fact that he's not going to be there is crazy when we do. But like I said, he's a legend, and he's going to be there forever. So however we decide, or as 3252, however we immortalize him, probably in some, platform or something, will definitely be on display in the North End. So I invite everybody forever to come and visit us at the Bank of California Stadium and be respectful of us, of course. This is our North End, our sacred part of the stadium. But, it'll always be a place for Mo and others. We have had others within the District 9 Ultras, our group as well, and within the 3252 who have, perished from this virus. And it's not something that I can, fathom or could have before. And now it's become even more personal, I think, for me. And, it's reality. It's reality. And it's definitely something that I have to deal with now. We all have to for the rest of our lives. And, a lot, people have it a lot. I'm going to say this also as well, back to privilege and being in a bubble. If you're not tied to immigrant communities or people that have to be in the front lines or doing jobs or that require interacting with people in close quarters, and maybe they don't have much protection, definitely no PPE from their businesses or companies. I mean, a lot of those workers, a lot of that group of people is disproportionately affected by this virus. So remember, when you're listening, when you were like, I don't know anybody. Oh, you're lucky if you don't know anybody. There's people that don't even know people that got the virus. Like, how's that? And I'm saying, like, be fortunate that you don't know anybody that got the virus. be fortunate that you don't know anybody that died from the virus. And if you have the chance now, get the vaccine. Just do it. Yes, there is going to be a lot of blah, 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 people all over the place. And I just can't deal right now. It's something that you need to do. And I think it's something that, we, are going to have to deal with as a society, and probably to get into games. If we're talking about fans, and I'm bringing this back to being a fan and a sports fan, you may have to show your card to get into a game, or be verified to get into a game. And I'm serious, because a lot of pro teams are not going to want to spread people out again. They're going to want you to be sitting in your seat just like everybody else, so they can have full capacity. So that requires, if we're going to have zero distancing, especially in the north end where we stand shoulder to shoulder, and like Mauricio said, we stand shoulder to shoulder. That doesn't mean I always agree with you, but I welcome you always. That means I'm butchering Mauricio. I'm butchering Mo's quote, but shoulder to shoulder, and that's something that we literally do, stand shoulder to shoulder. But it's also something that we requires no distancing at all. Clearly, you're literally right next to somebody. So even with masks, it's going to be probably required to get a vaccine. And I had Dr. Josh Albrechtsen, who's also LAFC 3252 member. I had him on the show about a month ago, and he talked about the virus. He talked about LA starting to slowly open up, and he's right. April 17th, our first game, LAFC against the new team from Austin and Texas. And April 17th, we'll have partial fans. So we'll see how we get into the game. Some of us are season members. Some of us go game by game, but I'm not sure how they're going to do it, because we always sell the stadium out, basically. And I haven't missed a home opener. Not that we've had many seasons, but this will be my fourth home opener. I don't plan on missing it again. I'm gonna go to the comments, because I see a lot of my fam in the comments. Mo forever, yes. Federico, and that's, you remember him, Federico Echeverria. We had him on our show actually in October, before the Fresno State game. So it's nice to have him in the comments again. Julio, our leader, our guy that we always look up to as well, who's he's gonna need a lot more help, guys. So definitely without Mo, everybody's gonna have to step up. But Julio says Ultras never die. That's true. Hector says, awesome, brother Wayne. Thank you. Gordo, Esteban, Stevie, our friend, says, I think I won already for having Mo and you. Thanks. And all the Ultras in my life. Thank you, Gordo. Karina, Lorena, thank you for being on. Miguel, I do have all of you. That's true. And we are ready for that home opener, Karina. So that home opener for LAFC is also going to be, a test for what LA looks like, and looking forward to the game. It's so sad. Okay, the schedule came out today for MLS, and we play Carson Galaxy, LAFC's biggest rival, our crosstown rival, on August 28th of all days. The same day that Hawaii plays UCLA at the Rose Bowl. So I don't know what time the game is going to be for the Hawaii UCLA. Hey, maybe we'll get a 9 a.m. call. If we do, then we're going to go and watch LAFC play Carson Galaxy for sure. But that tour is now open. I'm taking some deposits for the UCLA tour. We're going to be seeing Dodgers Rockies on Friday, Angels Yankees, and probably a game in SoFi, NFL preseason game. So do that. We're also going to have a tour going to, where else are we going to? Las Vegas, of course. Fuchsia Gate is definitely on again, so make sure you look out for that. And we play Oregon State, and we're going to go to my favorite city, Portland, which is one of our favorite cities at the District 9 Ultras, because we love Portland, because it's so fun. Portland is fun anyways, but when you get to go watch your team, LAFC, play the Portland Timbers, and last time we went, we saw them win too. It was so cool and so fun, and that's a really fun stadium to go and watch a game in. And Mo is there with us as well, and those are the kind of trips that we remember. We call stay with us in our memories forever, those away days. And that same spirit of being on the road and being with your friends and having fun, that's always something that's been a part of Hawaii sports fans. And and I continue to just grow with my love and my interest in this in games and going to new places. It doesn't matter where. Obviously, being in the Mountain West Conference, as Hawaii is, good to go to Albuquerque and all kind of crazy places, Reno. Maybe not certain places you might always go to, but you always find something cool in a place. You always have something that sticks with you. And it's definitely, being a fan of LAFC, I get a chance to be able to go to so many places. In LAFC, we play in Portland as well. So actually, I don't even know. I should check our schedule. When do we play the Timbers? So all my friends are in the the comments. But yes, we have, and we're so lucky to have so many. I think when I first came into the District 9 Ultras 4 years ago, before we even had a team, there are several dozen of us maybe, and now there's like hundreds. So that's just how fast this family has grown. And one thing I'm proud of it is the diversity within it, and something at Hawaii Sports Fans I'm very proud of. And I tell people this all the time. And if you're watching Get Up this morning or yesterday morning on ESPN, Jalen Rose, his wife was on. I'm trying to make a point, and I have to call her Jalen Rose's wife, so that's embarrassing and sad. But she, had an incident with LeVar Ball, and she talked about, people have to defend us because 47% of NFL fans are women. So women's, this is talking about the Deshaun Watson situation. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback right now of the Houston Texans, he has like 7 women that have come forward. Kind of a Me Too moment for him. And that's because a lot of our public spheres do not reflect the principles of diversity, of inclusion, of equity, of giving minorities, giving women positions of leadership. And Mo infused all of those values into the 3252. And he also infused all of those values into his life and the way that he interacted with people. And that's important, whether you are immigrant or white or first generation American or gay or brown, black, whatever. Mo was a friend to you, and he was inclusive, and that is really important for any fan base in any sport. And for him to have the leadership to do something like that is really incredible, because there's so much pressure, right, on men particularly to feel like you need to act out or be strong or not look weak. And Mo was a pillar, even if he was talking about something that might be uncomfortable, like LGBT rights or something. I mean, Mo was involved in all of these things as an ally. I mean, that's amazing. Who's like that? Yet he was somebody that could be toe to toe with anybody, and that's an example that needs to be kept within our 3252, but also with all sports and with all fan bases. We need to be able to show love to others. It's something that was shocking to me. Even we went to Mexico, right? And I talked about that trip to Leon to watch LAFC play, and there was no women's bathroom. There was just one bathroom, like only men. Oh, for the visiting section, okay, which is something separate. There was a visiting section. And in the visiting section, of course, this is in Mexico. I'm not saying that, it's different, but it just shows that some countries, maybe Mexico, maybe in the Arab states, I mean, they don't even expect women. Well, some places don't even let women in the games. At least in Mexico, you can get into the games, but to think like facilities don't even have those in place for women who make up a huge part of our fan base, especially our ultras, our even our supporter group, even our 3252. Women make up a huge part of that, and Mo was a champion of women and champion of making sure that they were given that same right to be on that stand, to be leading cheers, but also to have the voices heard. A lot of women, we have victims of situations that are uncomfortable. We have people who, are discriminated purely in the fact that they're women. And Mo was somebody that stood up for that. And that's going to be so important for others to step up in his in his shoes. Jose says, to everyone that has lost someone, and Jose lost his father, and that was already something that was hard. I mean, for us to be able to come together in that way, and then to have the hits coming again. And I know for Jose, we send our love to him, and I got to see him, and I've gotten to catch up with him, and I think it's going to be a journey and a challenge. I think a lot of us are living in kind of obviously this time of the pandemic is already a little bit jumbled, and we feel like we've lost sense of time or what day, and it's starting to get that way for me, and a little bit too, having lost my niece last year, and my friend Robbie I talked about, he actually came on Hawaii Sports Fans trips with me. He took his own life and the struggles that he had, and then to remember that we have to keep going, we have to keep fighting. The fight is never over, and even the fight against the virus is not going to be over until everybody takes it seriously. The fastest way we get is everybody gets the vaccine. It's over. The pandemic's over. And I know in LA we're starting to actually have surplus. I've heard Dr. Albert, Josh, he posted about like Dodger Stadium especially apparently had extra spots, and we're not I don't know if they have to throw away, because sometimes like these vaccines, they have like shelf life, like a short shelf life. So I don't know if he had to or not, but definitely get that get that out. Gordo says, I'm down for the mask as long as I can still take off my shirt. That's something to see in the North End too. See Gordo take his shirt off. Cave, our boy Cave, he says, may Mo rest in heavenly peace. My condolences. Mahalo, Cave. Alex says, Portland was the best. It is the best. It is so fun. So we'll be back there in Portland as well in September. Actually, I should see when the LAFC plays. Portland Timbers, because Hawaii will be playing Oregon State in Corvallis, Oregon, as some people will say. Don't say Oregon to Oregon people. But because of that, because LAFC, it will now be back in Portland. I'm hoping it's at the same time. Okay, Portland Timbers game is, drum roll please, when is it? I don't know. Somebody help me. Somebody in the comments help me. I can't tell. Well, I don't know if it's in September, which is when we're going to be going anyway. Oh, it is September. September 19th. Wait, is that the same weekend? Guys. No. Yes. No. Yes. Because if that is the same weekend, oh my goodness, that'd be crazy. Then we can do, let's see. When is the schedule? Come on. I'm trying to open up the schedule. We play Oregon State September 11th. Oh, it's the week before. Darn it. So Hawaii is playing at Portland or at Oregon State. So you're going to have to go on that trip because we're going to see Portland. We just missed it by 6 days LAFC, or 7 days LAFC playing in Portland. That would have been cool to see that same time as a Hawaii Sports Fans group. But nonetheless, Portland's a fun city, and the MLS is growing. It's over 30 teams, I believe, so far. I know there's teams in Sacramento is going to have a team pretty soon. It's going to be the biggest American sports league, and I'm a baseball fan, and it's funny as well. And I remember Mauricio. I remember one of his status, Mo. I don't know why I keep calling Mauricio, like that's his formal name, but Mo. He's our Mo. Yes, we'll see you at the Rose Bowl. Miguel is a huge UCLA fan, and so is Gordo. Those people in the comments, if you're coming at UCLA tour, you're gonna see these guys. You're definitely gonna meet these guys, because we're gonna have a huge party at the Rose Bowl. But I remember Mauricio putting. We have a chant that's about La Copa MLS, the MLS Cup. Es mi obsesión, it's my obsession. And I remember he put like La Copa MLS es mi obsesión on his status, and somebody posted, or like that's what I want more than anything, and somebody posted like, what, more than a Dodgers World Series? And he's like, Yeah, even more than that. It's my obsession. So that was Mauricio. As big of a Dodgers fan, I'm sure he would enjoy seeing the Dodgers win the World Series. But he was all about winning the MLS Cup, and I know that when we do win it as a club, he will be definitely remembered that in that day and that moment, and we'll definitely always have him there. But Miguel says, "See you at the Rose Bowl," like we said. Hi, one. R.I.P. Mo. Gordo says pre-game beer showers. That's one thing too. If you see that photo, if you're watching the live stream, you see all of those hundreds of very enthusiastic 3252 members behind me getting ready for the game that was in Seattle. If you get stuck in that, there's definitely no 6 feet apart or mask wearing usually in there. There might be some mask wearing, because some people have some cool scarves over their face or something. So, that's kind of what it's like, getting in that, like a big mosh pit almost sometimes. And you have some beer showers after. I may or may not have lost 3 beers at the first game at Carson. So I was standing next to Gordo. You see Gordo in the comments. We were sitting next to each other, and then Joe Lipano, my friend. You guys probably know Joe as well. He went to La Lehua, and now he's in LA. And we were sitting with our 3252, and that was a game that Zlatan. That was an amazing game, amazing LMLS game. Even though LAFC was on the wrong side, but I remember instigating perhaps on myself some of those beer showers, which just was out of pure, just energy, and it just came natural. Put it that way, okay? I'm not about wasting like that. Actually, I'm not about drinking beer either. That's something I just have a very low tolerance. So I gave it to the skies, and now everybody gets a little bit of it, that's something that you can experience as well. If you ever get I'm not saying, getting into the North End and being amongst us at Bank of California Stadium, and if you picture this in the North End, and talk about fans, right? We stand the whole game. We have somebody leading us in our chants, and we don't sit, and we can't sit anyways because they literally chain our seats up, like lock our seats folded up, so we have to stand. But they have a safe standing rail there, which is amazing. We were the first MLS team in America to have that as well, and that's kind of fun, and that's kind of how the fan experience is. And we jump, and we do a song called "Jump for LA Football Club," and that is something that it requires a lot of jumping and a lot of dancing and a lot of chanting and singing. So I'm hoping we can get back to that again soon. Obviously, we've been promoting distancing for the last year, so we're not about that in 3252. We're the opposite, right? We're promoting coming together and everybody, showing respect to each other and showing love to each other as well. And that's something a culture that has managed to thrive even whenever we're not in the stands, even not having games that we could be there. We were either outside the stadium chanting, and the team could hear us, and the team even came out to acknowledge us, or we were active in the community, and we were, helping others or finding ways that we can be effective, with helping different services, community services, and Mo was a huge proponent behind that as well. Gordo says only mask you'll wear is the guy's butt cheeks that's falling off the rail. Yes, so there are people that like to stand on that safe standing rail, but the safe standing is not to stand on the rail. You're supposed to stand on the ground and hold the rail. But you alcohol, beer showers, people on the rail, you'll have some interesting acrobatics going on sometimes too there. So that's another side part of it. But April 17th, LAFC opens. I'm not sure how many tickets will be distributed, but it'll be a great time for you to get if you're in the LA area, or catch LAFC on the road somewhere. I know we'll be there. Hawaii football, we have tours, and I'm hoping that one of them so far we'll have at LAFC. It's possible if the UCLA game is early. I mean, we're gonna have to have a plan with Gordo and his primos, his cousins. You know, in Hawaii, that's one thing in Hawaii, cousins are so important, right? Everybody grows up with their cousins, and that's so important. That's your friends, and that's what I love about being in LA too. And my Chicano friends always are with their cousins, their primos, and that's kind of just like how it is in Hawaii. That's exactly how it is. And I'm gonna be probably with those guys. If we're at the UCLA game, I'm sure I'm gonna be with all of you. And then if we can get to the LAFC game, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Let's just say it, guys. That would be incredible. We can go to both games on that day. So let's just hope that the UCLA Hawaii game is early, and then we can, go to both games. That'd be fun. But with that being said, March Madness as well. Okay, I'm slightly going to go off the topic because March Madness is the competition. If you're paying attention, we had 25 people enter the contest. I'm also in the contest, but I didn't expect to be in first place. I sort of, kind of, but I am in first place actually, which some people would say that's unfair. It's your own contest. You can't be in first place. But I mean, it's not like I can rig my own contest. It's literally a national bracket. Like I just picked a bracket like everybody else, but I am in first place. And with that being said, someone will have to beat me, and somebody might. I mean, I do have Gonzaga as my champ, so you know, if your champ goes out, that's that makes it hard. But let's face it, I talked about some of the percentages you should play, right? Like you go to Vegas and you're gambling. Gambling is one thing, but playing the percentages is another thing, right? That's just saying like I understand what the chances are, but I'm gonna take the higher chances. So we've seen trends of 11s and 6s, and I told you one of the first four teams in the at-large 11 seeds would go to at least 2 rounds, and UCLA did that. UCLA, I picked them. UCLA. Oh, speaking of UCLA, that's hilarious. Because UCLA made it. So I picked UCLA in the first 4 games. They beat Michigan State. Then they beat like Abilene Christian, or who did they beat in the first round? So I picked UCLA, and I actually was high on USC too. I was actually high on a lot of the Pac-10 teams, Pac-12 teams. And USC is in it as well. I mean, and the Big Ten crapped out, and I think Michigan is actually going to lose to Florida State, who I have in a Final Four. But I also picked Abilene Christian over Texas. What can I say? I mean, some of those you just got to feel out. But Abilene Christian also being in Texas. Also, look at some of their teams' records. They're winning. Some of them win. Some of them hold their opponents to low percentages. So I talked about all of these things last week in the score. Yeah, BYU, right. Miguel, UCLA beat BYU. And BYU was a hot team, right? Everybody's like, oh, they're beating Gonzaga at the half of the West Coast Championship or whatever. But BYU, of course, is gone. All the beans. They didn't get anything this year. And I think a lot of it was because I had to play UCLA. And so I was right about that. So I picked a bunch of upsets. I mean, I want to be honest. But I just played the percentages. So if you watch the show, and I talked about it, you watched my March Madness special last week. I even gave up on those. But if Gonzaga loses, you're going to... Robert says, you're done, my Cinderella beating Gonzaga. So we'll see about that, Robert, because let's see who I have left. So first of all, I'm in the 98.7 percentile in all of the game. I'm small kind bragging about that. I'm first place in our league, which is the Hawaii Sports Fans League. If you have the app, you can look at it straight from the app. There's also a group called Fans of Hawaii. I'm 8th place in that one. The person who's in 4th place has 20 more points than me, and but has a lower max. See, I have a pretty high max score still, one of the highest, because like my Final Four is still intact. But if Houston had lost that game, which they were really close to losing, that would have been really bad for me. But I picked a lot of, what can I say? I picked the right ones. And there were some that I went back and forth on, like the Colgate Arkansas even one, but I was like, nah, there's going to be a 14-3, but not that one. Luckily, I picked the right one. I did miss on the Oral Roberts, and it's so amazing to see Oral Roberts going to Sweet 16. I mean, a 15 seed making it all the way. That's amazing. I don't think nobody in our group picked that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive how many teams made it. Oregon State also. Oregon State did beat Oklahoma State, which I did have. So Robert, is happy about that since he's an OU fan, and he doesn't care that I have, Oklahoma State. Oh, no, I didn't have Oklahoma State. Never mind. I take that back. I don't have... My Final Four is still intact. Gonzaga, Florida State, Baylor, and Houston. My Elite Eight is still intact as well. Gonzaga, USC, Florida State, Alabama, Baylor. Oh, no. Texas Tech I had in there, and Oklahoma State. I lied. I have 6 of 8 teams left. But Sweet 16, not bad for a Sweet 16. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of 16 teams. So over half. Not bad. I loved Loyola Chicago. A lot of people said they were also misseeded, which is probably true. And, they beat Illinois. And Sister Jean lives on. Sister Jean, 101-year-old nun. If you get to see her on TV, she's so fun. And it was fun seeing her the last time on TV when Loyola was in it. And now she's back. So how crazy is that? 101 years old. Also, Syracuse, another 11 seed that got in. So Syracuse and UCLA, 2 11 seeds. So that's amazing, too. And we talked about that, 11 seeds to watch out for and 2 making it. So what can I say? You just got to watch this show. And I talk about all those things. Smart picking that we do here at Hawaii Sports Fans. But, a lot of these games were, just still crazy and wacky, all of the upsets. But you expected something right? You expect something like that to happen in a year when you have COVID and teams like VCU couldn't even play their first game. So Oregon, was able to walk over them in a no contest, and then Oregon won again. So Oregon plays USC. The Pac-12 is lighting it up. It's impressive. 1, 2, 3. 4 Pac-12 teams in the round of 16. That's incredible. So check it out. I don't know. I have a feeling I might win my contest, and if I do, I guess I don't have to give a prize since I'd be the winner. But I also just want the bragging rights, as anybody else would do, because that's the whole point of contests. It's not about winning prizes. It's about bragging till next year. So if I win my own contest, you can definitely expect me to. But I'll definitely raise the prize even more next year. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what we have down the road. I think some of these teams like Loyola may have a chance to go all the way. Who knows? All the way to the end. Who knows? I could easily see USC also coming out of that. Gonzaga Creighton, that'll be a good game. Like I said, the Michigan-Florida State game, I have Florida State winning that game. UCLA, Alabama, who knows there? UCLA could win again. I covered UCLA at the Maui Invitational, and I know they're a good team. A lot of these teams, too, it's like, had I watched them, did I watch them in person? UCLA I saw in person at the Maui Invitational 2 years ago, and I was pretty impressed with Jaime Jaquez, their best player, basically their scorer, and he's been having a great tournament. But Oral Roberts, man, that'd be cool to see them keep winning. It's funny because a lot of I went to Vassar, which isn't the biggest sports school. Even though I played sports there, a lot of the kids aren't really into sports. But during the run, George Mason had a run at the Final Four in 2007, and everybody was on the TVs. I remember just seeing like a small school like George Mason. Plus, we played them in volleyball. Actually, they were in my league. From Fairfax, Virginia. So it was cool that people can appreciate the Cinderella making it. And we could. Can you imagine if we had like Loyola in the Midwest, Oral Roberts, Florida State, because, I picked them. And like, who knows, Creighton? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Then you would almost guarantee have a mid-major champ, which would be amazing. We talked about this with Hawaii when I brought Brian McInnes on last week, and Hawaii basketball and Big West basketball, and what level it is in the D1, and what how it's positioning itself, or how Hawaii is within the conference, because we all thought Hawaii would be running away with champions, right? Championships, but that didn't happen. So seeing teams like Gonzaga, seeing teams like Oral Roberts making it to the Sweet 16. Oral Roberts, come on. That's hope for a lot of the small programs. So that's kind of cool to see something like that. But I hope that everybody is at least having a good tournament. I was able to catch most of the games. And now with the apps, and now with having every game streamed, you don't have to miss anything. So it's been so fun, and I can't wait for the next round to be able to watch all the games again. But definitely last week was really fun, and I had multiple monitors going, and it was definitely cool because we went 2 years. It was funny. So was it Oral Roberts? Was it the Oral Roberts game? Was some game? No, Liberty. And it was like the play-by-play announcer, was it Kevin Harlan? He was like, Liberty hasn't been in the tournament since 2019. And that was literally the last tournament. So he's a great announcer. So I have to laugh about that little spat because it sounds like a long time ago, but that was literally the last tournament, 2019, because there was no tournament in 2020. But yeah, so that's the March Madness for you. I think we're going to have a lot of surprises too. So we'll see next week on the show what kind of surprises we have. That's a show for today. I hope you guys didn't tune down too much from my terrible singing in the beginning, but I should have recorded it. But it's hard to not be emotional. Obviously, I chose a song that a lot of you recognize because it's something from Hawaii, but it is. And I think he is a perfect ambassador of aloha with this song and saying things to the people you love and wishing them well as they pass over above us. See you next week. Aloha.